faithfully sharing insights exploring great books worldwide. Hi, this is Sally here with the Book Talk.
Today, I'll interpret the book Life is Quite Fun for You.
This is a collection of essays by Wang Zhenqi, a contemporary Chinese writer. Among Wang Zhenqi's readers, it's often said that while many haven't heard of him, those who have truly adore him. This is largely because of his literary brilliance. In his youth, Wang Zhenqi attended Southwest Associated University, where many literary titans took a liking to him. For instance, the essay full score was 100, but his Chinese teacher Shen Kamwen gave him 120, praising him everywhere as writing better than himself. And Jia Pinghua, later known as a literary prodigy, praised Wang Zhenqi profusely, calling him a literary fox spirit refined to perfection. Wang Zhenqi's prose possesses an effortless, innate elegance, but people adore him for another reason. He was a life connoisseur, someone passionate about life, talented in many arts, and delightful. Activities like writing, painting, and cooking, though mundane, brought him immense pleasure. Through Wang Zhangji's eyes, even a common sight turns into something exquisitely romantic. Amidst the chaos of war and air raids, he discovered moments of tranquility and delight. Wang Zhenqi said, "Many things in life become fascinating when you think about them." To him, the world was brimming with wonders. He captured these discoveries in writing, sharing them in ways that always amazed his audience. Next, I'll explore Wang Zhenji's delightful life through four lenses: cuisine, flora and fauna, and life's adversities. Central to Wang Zhenji's fun-filled life was food. He was a true gourmet himself. He described his hometown Guoyu, Jiangsu, where families kept snacks like fried rice and scorched crumbs to endure nights of conflict. Families survived on quick fried rice and soaked crumbs, sleeping on temporary rush mat beds, a surprisingly romantic experience. Homely dishes like pickled veggie soup with arrowheads in winter or cold shepherd's purse salad in spring were simple yet unforgettable. His vivid description of Goyu's salted duck eggs, creamy yolks using oil, tender whites, was particularly memorable. Poke it, and the rich red oil flows out with a hiss, making all other salted duck eggs pale in comparison. Truly, once you've tasted these, others are unworthy. In 1939, 19-year-old Wang Zhengxi traveled to Kunming and attended Southwest Associated University, where he stayed for 7 years. During his studies, his true foodie nature shone through brilliantly. In his free time, he often sneaked to street pubs with friends, ordering braised pork head and fine lime to savor. Or he'd visit market stalls for poached chicken, which he poetically called sitting and enjoying cool chicken. Kunming truly had an abundance of delicious food. Famous examples include Kunming's beef, Wang exclaimed he'd never tasted better, and steamed pot chicken, cooked in special ceramic vessels. Wang never hid his love for steamed pot chicken. If all Chinese chicken dishes competed, which would win gold? I believe Kunming's steamed pot chicken deserves the medal. Then there's indescribably savory Xuanwei ham, heartbreak-curing bridge noodles, and mushrooms like green head, porcini, and dried varieties. And termite mushrooms, hailed by Wang as king of fungi. He adored them and insisted friends try. When a friend visited Kunming, Wang urged him to absolutely try the local mushrooms. Later settling in Beijing, even as family called him Old Man, Wang's foodie spirit never faded. Post-1949, he worked at Beijing Literary Federation and edited magazines, spending his modest salary on snacks, qi air in local parlance. Among Beijing's qi air, the three roasts reign supreme. The three roasts are duck, meat, and sweet potatoes. Wang's favorite was Beijing grilled meat, frequently mentioned in his writings. Eating grilled meat is Beijingers' autumn ritual. Come fall, the aroma fills the city. Beijing grilled meat cooks on a zizi, an iron griddle made of nailed strips. Beneath burns pine or fruit wood while meat is thinly sliced. Servers mix seasonings in bowls: soy sauce, sesame oil, wine, heaps of cilantro, then add water before serving. Customers use long chopsticks to spread seasoned mutton on the griddle. Smoke rises through griddle gaps, infusing meat with woody aroma, while juices seep down, creating caramelized fragrance. Since the griddle was tall, customers would stand with one foot on a bench, grilling while devouring meat, gulping wine, and sweating profusely. Wang Zhenqi said such robust, bold atmosphere could boost one's appetite by 30%. Having lived in Beijing long enough, Long became quite knowledgeable about local home cooking. He remarked that Beijingers were easily content. They had modest material needs, satisfied with cornbread alone. Pickled radish was fine, spiced radish exceptional. Fermented tofu with sesame oil could entertain guests, while dried shrimp stewed cabbage was delightful. Hey, Wang also briefly visited Sichuan, Inner Mongolia, Zhangjiakou, always prioritizing local delicacies wherever he went. When touring Sichuan with writers, others dined at fancy restaurants. Only he and friend Lin Jinlon ducked into a village eatery, each ordering a bowl of tofu pudding. He declared Sichuan tofu pudding magical, just plain broth where tofu is dipped in chili sauce. Jinlon and I each had steaming rice, pure bliss. Through simple words, you can almost hear his contented smacking lips. He described Inner Mongolian hand-held mutton, boiled in plain water, served in chunks, eaten by cutting pieces with a Mongolian knife. Freshly slaughtered and cooked, it was incredibly tender. Wang Zhenqi lavished it with highest praise.
If asked for my verdict, I'd say without hesitation, unparalleled.
More remarkable was candied lamb tail, Wang exclaimed. He'd tried candied yam, potato, apple, banana, but never lamb tail. Biting through the thin, crispy shell revealed what seemed like clear broth, the tail fat having melted away. Wang mused, "This should be offered to Buddha, not humans. It's too divine." In short, reading about Wang's culinary adventures feels like watching A Bite of China. Chen Xiaoqing, director of A Bite of China, acknowledged Wang's profound influence on the documentary's food culture portrayal. As an elite foodie, Wang not only loved and understood food, he cooked masterfully too. He said, "When energized and well-stocked, cooking dishes brings immense joy." When visiting new places, he preferred markets over malls. Markets pulsed with authentic life. Wang had his own cooking logic. Practice relentlessly. Eat more, ask more, study recipes. Repeat a dish several times to master seasoning. Most crucially, cooking demands imagination. Visualize the outcome to achieve deliciousness. Once, Wang adapted his hometown shepherd's purse salad to spinach. Parboil mid-sized leaves, chop, salt, squeeze dry, then mix with dried tofu, shrimp, garlic, ginger, mound into a pagoda, drench in sesame vinegar sauce before serving. This became his emergency dish for surprise guests. Wang didn't just adapt recipes, he innovated, creating originals like stuffed twice-fried dough sticks. His signature: cut dough sticks into segments, stuff with minced pork mixed with scallions, pickled mustard, and cucumber, then pan fry. Rough frying makes them crispy and irresistibly crunchy. Wang declared smugly, "I invented this. It's patent-worthy." He earned that pride. His cooking was legendary. Friends would insist on home meals over restaurants. Long tailored meals to guests. When writer Ni Hualin, long in the U.S., and husband Paul Engel visited, he served Yangzhou dried tofu shreds. Ni relished it so much, she drank every drop. Long explained, "It wasn't about rarity I aimed to stir her homesickness."
Other times, he chose novel ingredients. Guests loved tasting the unfamiliar.
When Taiwanese writer Chen Yinzhen visited Beijing, she specifically requested Wang's cooking. He made scallop braised turnip greens, peak season in Beijing, unknown in Taiwan. Wang marveled. Even I was stunned by its sweetness. Just like that, he also stir-fried yuman dried mushrooms, another Taiwan rarity. Chen Yinzhen ate some, then wrapped the leftovers in plastic to take back to her hotel. Beyond cuisine, Wang's delightful world thrived with vitality from flora and fauna. In childhood, Wang often played in a small garden in his hometown Baoyu. Since then, he developed a special affection for plants, feeling an intimate connection. If my face carries childhood's rosy hue, its source must be that garden. In Wang's writings, every plant possesses its own distinct character. Most memorable is the gardenia's unapologetic exuberance. He described gardenias as big, bold, and overwhelmingly fragrant, dismissed by refined folk as vulgar. The gardenia retorts, "I'll bloom fragrantly and freely, who cares what you think?" He wrote of winter sweet, golden blossoms bursting toward sunny skies, a rare blend of exuberance and serenity. He noted pearl orchids' quiet grace, ochre's fragility, withering in breeze, and morning glories' brief lives. Morning glories fade by noon after dew-kissed dawns. Among Yunnan's blooms, long-favored bougainvillea, its petals leaf-like but purple. He said its purple was unique, unlike lilac, wisteria, or rose, blooming year-round without withering. Wang mused, perhaps it blooms casually, thinking itself near foliage. Charmed by its unassuming ease, he championed bougainvillea. Though Chukchang City's official flower is rhododendron, flamboyant reds and greens, regal yet wild, a rare combination. Thus Wang fell for rhododendrons too. His plant portrayals weren't whimsical but rooted in meticulous observation. He observed flora with extraordinary patience, sometimes tracking a plant's cycles for months or years. His essay Grapevine Almanac chronicled monthly growth from January to December. For January, he wrote, "Snow falls silently, the orchard pure white, soundless. Grapes sleep in cellars blanketed with snow. A tone as tender as a new mother cradling her infant arrives." Writing about April watering, his tone shifts dramatically, nearly shouting, "Grapes drink water astonishingly. They truly guzzle. Then in May, vines sprout recklessly. They just grow wild." Now he sounds like an annoyed parent scolding mischievous children. Wang's prose isn't ornate but masterful, like his Lotus essay, just 200 plus words capturing the flower's entire life. Our family plants 2 vats of lotus yearly. Blooms reveal tender seed pods, countless stamens, pure fragrance. Lotus seems to say, "I've bloomed." Finally, withered leaves gather snow. Few words, yet profoundly moving. As he said, Flora's fate mirrors all things, growth and decay evoking quiet contemplation. Beyond plants, long delighted in creatures, could play for hours with any insect he found. Once catching a quick beetle, he excitedly showed his adult child, who recalled childhood play, prompting Wang to play alone. He pressed its back to make it click incessantly, flipped it over, snapping upright when released. In short, reading Wang's culinary adventures feels like watching A Bite of China. Chen Xiaoqing, director of A Bite of China, acknowledged Wang's profound influence on the documentary's food culture portrayal. As an elite foodie, Wang not only loved and understood food, he cooked masterfully too, he said. When energized and well-stocked, cooking dishes brings immense joy. When traveling, he preferred markets over malls, markets pulsed with authentic life. Wang's cooking philosophy: practice relentlessly, eat more, ask more, study recipes, repeat dishes to master seasoning. The key to cooking is imagination. Visualize the outcome to achieve deliciousness. Wang once adapted his hometown shepherd's purse salad to spinach. Parboil mid-sized leaves, chop, salt, squeeze dry, then mix with dried tofu, shrimp, garlic, ginger, mound into a pagoda, drench in sesame vinegar sauce before serving. This became his emergency dish for surprise guests. Wang didn't just adapt recipes, he innovated, creating originals like stuffed twice-fried dough sticks. His signature: cut dough sticks into segments, stuff with minced pork mixed with scallions, pickled mustard, and cucumber, then pan fry. Ref frying makes them crispy and irresistibly crunchy, Wang declared smugly. "I invented this, it's patent-worthy." He earned that pride. His cooking was legendary. Friends would insist on home meals over restaurants. Wang tailored meals to guests. When writer Ni Huiling, long in the U.S., and husband Paul Engel visited, he served Yangzhou dried tofu shreds. Ni relished it so much, she drank every drop. Wang explained, "It wasn't about rarity, I aimed to stir her homesickness." Other times he chose novel ingredients. Guests loved tasting the unfamiliar. When Taiwanese writer Chen Yinzhen visited Beijing, she specifically requested Wang's cooking. He made scalloped braised turnip grains, peak season in Beijing, unknown in Taiwan. Wang marveled. Even I was stunned by its sweetness. Just like that. He also stir-fried Yunnan dried mushrooms, another Taiwan rarity. Chen Yin's Chen ate some, then wrapped the leftovers in plastic to take back to her hotel. Beyond cuisine, Wang's delightful world thrived with vitality from flora and fauna. In childhood, Wang often played in a small garden in his hometown Gaoyu. Since then, he has had a special fondness for plants, feeling a unique closeness. If my face carries a rosy hue from childhood, its source must be that garden. In Wang Zhenqi's writings, every plant possesses its own distinct character. Most memorable is the gardenia's unapologetic exuberance. He described gardenias as big, bold, and overwhelmingly fragrant, dismissed by refined folk as vulgar. The gardenia retorts, "I'll bloom fragrantly and freely, who cares what you think?" He wrote of wintersweet, golden blossoms bursting toward sunny skies, a rare blend of exuberance and serenity. He noted pearl orchids' quiet grace, ochra's fragility, withering in breeze, and morning glories' brief lives. Morning glories fade by noon after dew-kissed dawns. Among Yunnan's blooms, Juan favored bougainvillea, its petals leaf-like but purple. He said its purple was unique, unlike lilac, wisteria, or rose, blooming year-round without withering.
Wang mused. Perhaps it blooms casually, thinking itself mere foliage.
Charmed by its unassuming ease, he championed bougainvillea, though Tushang City's official flower is rhododendron, flamboyant reds and greens, regal yet wild, a rare combination. Thus Wang fell for rhododendrons too. His plant portrayals weren't whimsical, but rooted in meticulous observation. He observed flora with extraordinary patience, sometimes tracking a plant's cycles for months or years. His essay Grapevine Almanac chronicled monthly growth from January to December. For January, he wrote, "Snow falls silently, the orchard pure white, soundless. Grapes sleep in cellars blanketed with snow. A tone as tender as a new mother cradling her infant." Arrives, writing about April watering. His tone shifts dramatically, nearly shouting, "Grapes drink water astonishingly. They truly guzzle." Then in May, vines sprout recklessly. They just grow wild. Now he sounded like an exasperated parent scolding mischievous children. Wang's prose isn't ornate but masterful. Like his Lotus essay, just 200 plus words capturing the flower's entire life. Our family plants 2 vats of lotus yearly. Blooms reveal tender seed pods, countless stamens, pure fragrance. Lotus seems to say, "I've bloomed, finally, withered leaves gather snow." Few words, yet profoundly moving. As he said, Flora's fate mirrors all things, growth and decay evoking quiet contemplation. Beyond plants, Wen delighted in creatures, could play for hours with any insect he found. Once catching a quick beetle, he excitedly showed his adult child, who recalled childhood play, prompting Wang to play alone. He pressed its back to make it quick incessantly, flipped it over, snapping upright when released. It'd flip high midair and land perfectly. Wang marveled. She said, "How does its neck hold such strength?" When writing about insects, he often detailed subtle variations between species. His grasshopper essay compiled regional appearances and cultural origins. Ibai's pointy green grasshoppers are common. They click when flying, though how remains mysterious. They have wing cases covering delicate peach-pink wings. Quite beautiful. He noted traditional painters favor them. Wang once painted one for a dentist friend. His hometown's native grasshoppers, however, are stubby, with square, earth-black heads and spotted wings. When caught, they spit brown fluid, rather unpleasant. When asked why he wrote about insects, he replied, "I simply hoped today's children might play with them, sparking interest in nature." See, it's just fun, letting others, especially kids, join the play. Yet sometimes Wang used these little creatures to satirize life's philosophies. In his essay, Amber, he wrote, "I dislike man-made amber trapping insects. True beauty requires serendipity." He added, "Crabs are fierce, bizarre, yet comical. Ferocity and absurdity often converge." Wang believed flora and fauna reflect human life. Interest in them reveals broad curiosity about people. Naturally, Wang took deep interest in those around him. His circle included literati like his mentor Shen Kongwen's family, Lao She, Jin Yuelin, Lin Jinlan, all strong personalities. He captured Shen's wit and Lao She's floral obsession. Of Jin Yuelin, his logic professor at Southwest Associated University, he wrote, "A fascinating teacher. When a student asked why study logic, half syllogisms, half dry symbols, Jin retorted, 'Because I find it fun!' Once lecturing on fiction and philosophy, Jin paused abruptly. 'Oh, pardon, I've got a little creature here.' He reached behind his collar, produced a flea, examined it proudly between fingers. Wang described Jin's reclusive later years. Mao Zedong advised him to engage with society, though Jin was already 80.
His solution, hiring a pedicab driver to tour Wanfujing daily.
Wang imagined Jin gazing around from the pedicab, a wonderfully amusing sight. Lin Jinlan was Wang's kindred spirit, a fellow gourmet frequently featured in his essays. Multiple passages show them food hunting together, perfect dining partners.
Wang openly called Lin delightfully peculiar and unique.
Lin had odd quirks, heart problems yet loved liquor and meat, competitive mountain climber. When avoiding opinions, Lin would laugh, "Ha ha, this matter, ha ha ha!" Unexpectedly, this laughing defense shielded him during the anti-rightist campaign, which Wang Zhenji excelled at uncovering people's admirable qualities and expressing them fittingly. He described Peking opera master Hao Shuchen becoming principal of Beijing Opera School, using a secretary written speech at his inauguration. When saying, "Only by knowing the bitterness of old society can one appreciate new society's sweetness." In old opera circles, they didn't support young or old. Many artists who sang lifelong ended up starving on streets. Here, Principal Hao grew emotional, raising the script. "Students, he's absolutely right." People treated this as a joke, but Wang asked, "What's laughable?" Obviously, the speech was ghostwritten, admitting it isn't shameful. His absolutely right was genuine honesty. Nothing funny here. This reveals elders' virtue, sincerity without pretense. Beyond celebrities, Wang also wrote about ordinary people, like Beijing tenement aunties.
He said, "Our building's aunties live vibrantly, filling it with vitality."
Auntie Shu used a peppercorn wood cane, not for walking, but carrying groceries. She carried groceries with it, not for ease, seemingly for fun. Auntie Ding walked uniquely, head high, chest out, striding fiercely with swinging arms. Auntie Chow loved cooking Beijing snacks, boasting, "My steamed buns are divine. My fried dough balls are divine. My hand-pulled noodles are divine." She also loved gardening. Her balcony overflowed with blooms. She'd buy deep purple peony buds from Temple of Heaven's East Gate, blooming for a month. Wine always observed people with deep interest, even strangers encountered briefly. His essay Locust Blossoms depicted a beekeeper family at Beijing's Yui Wantan Park. This short prose began, "Locust blossoms blanket Yui Wantan like snow, dazzling white. Beekeepers arrived, hives placed, home settled." Then he chronicled their daily life, their canvas tent, the beekeeper's wife. They ate dried noodles. The beekeeper traveled extensively, reaching many provinces. Wherever flowers bloomed, he gathered honey. That year in Xinfan, Sichuan, while beekeeping, he met his future wife. During that period, Wan Zhengqi often walked around Yui Wantan, buying honey twice from the beekeeper. When spring ended, the beekeepers packed wooden planks, coal stoves, pots, and bellows into their eldest son's truck and drove away. The essay concluded, "Yui Wantan's locust blossoms have fallen." That simple line somehow felt deeply moving. Whether describing food, flora, fauna, or people, Wang's words always revealed life's delightful abundance. Yet behind these beautiful words lay a life filled with hardship. Born in 1920, amid chaos, young Wang fled warlord conflicts with family, surviving on fried rice snacks at Red Cross shelters. During his studies, the Sino-Japanese War erupted, forcing him to Kunming's Southwest Associated University. August 1949, he was labeled a rightist in the anti-rightist movement and sent to Zhangjiakou for labor reform. During the Cultural Revolution, he endured public denouncements, forced humiliation, and imprisonment. His daughter sternly forbade suicide during the darkest days. Yet Wang rarely mentioned such suffering in his works. Even in adversity, he found joy. In 1958, as a newspaper editor wrongly branded a rightist, he was first sent to plant trees in Beijing's Western Hills. The work was brutal. In Wang's words, it was life-threatening. They chiseled tree pits into rocky slopes with pickaxes, filled them with gravel, and leveled with rakes. But in Wang's writing, food scarcity seemed harder than physical labor. Each dawn, they climbed mountains carrying only 2 dried buns and pickled radish.
Day after day, Wang's foodie instincts resurfaced.
He foraged across hills. Autumn brought wild jujubes, which he snacked on. When grasshoppers hid in grass, he caught half baskets, roasted them over fire. Oh, that aroma! Pickled radish with roasted grasshoppers and steamed buns, pure deliciousness. Later, Wang Zhenji was sent to the remote Shaanxi Agricultural Research Institute in Zhangjiakou for labor reform. In 1960, his rightist label was removed, but no unit would accept him, so he remained stranded at the institute. He didn't return to Beijing until 1962. During his confinement, one task was illustrating a potato atlas. Each dawn he'd wade through dew, pick potato blossoms and leaves, arrange them in glasses, and paint stroke by stroke. Strangely, this didn't sound like hardship, but rather carried poetic charm. When potatoes ripened, he sketched tubers, then roasted them over cow dung fires to eat.
He tasted dozens of potato varieties, always critiquing them afterward.
He declared purple potatoes the best, texture and flavor like steamed chestnuts. Another type could be eaten raw, like fruit, though too small. He even contributed minor scientific insights. Previously, potatoes were thought scentless, but Wang discovered fragrant blooms. Astonishing researchers. Where did his joy amid hardship come from? His famous essay, Evading Air Raids, best reveals his mindset. It describes Japanese planes bombing Kunming during the Sino-Japanese War. When sirens blared, Kunming residents would run alerts, escaping as bombs fell overhead. Certainly not fun, yet how did Wang portray it? He wrote how people evacuated orderly, without panic. An ancient post road led westward to Yunnan's mountains. Normally quiet, with only mule caravans hauling salt, sugar, and goods. Strangely romantic.
During alerts, this path buzzed with activity.
Evacuees would settle peacefully in remote spots along the road. Their favorite spot? A pine grove where they'd wait calmly. Thick layers of dried pine needles carpeted the ground, soft underfoot. He wrote, pine resin perfumed the air. Sunlight filtered through branches, and gazing up at the intensely blue sky through pines. Utter comfort.
Plus, you could get all kinds of delicious snacks here.
When alerts sounded, Kunming street vendors would rush to the suburbs. There was dinging candy and large pine nuts with thin shells and plump kernels. Even in life-threatening moments, people found space for leisurely enjoyment, Wang concluded. Our nation, long tempered by hardship, has become resilient. We face sudden disasters with a Confucian-Taoist spirit. Its essence, detached acceptance, is unconquerable. This defined Wang's approach to life. This attitude crystallized in his writing as lightness, long focused on humble subjects, daily necessities, plants, insects, ordinary chats. His essays avoided elaborate structures or obscure themes. His language remained plain and unadorned, flowing like conversation with an old friend across the table. Sharing homely tales over tea always felt like a spring breeze. Wang called himself a Chinese-style lyrical humanist, affirming human value, freedom, and the pursuit of joy. He said, "Many have written of the era's sorrows. I wish only to nourish hearts and reveal life's beauty." Poetic by nature, he transformed hardships into serene lightness in his works. He declared, "We've endured wounds, but today we should rejoice. Writers have a duty to offer joy, especially today. That's why we read Wang Zhenji. A good life is quite fun." That concludes our reading of this book. Reading notes are below. See you next time. Hello, Sally's Book Club friends. I'm Sun Shuijing, editor from Golmai Culture. This spring festival, I recommend Wan Zhenqi's delightful essay collection, Life is Quite Fun. Tang poet Yuan Zhen wrote these famous lines. Having seen the ocean, nothing else qualifies as water. Having witnessed Mount Wu's clouds, all others pale. A millennium later, an author, devoted to his hometown salted duck eggs, wrote, "Having seen the ocean, other waters seem insignificant. I disdain salted eggs elsewhere." That author was Wang Zhenqi. Wang Zhenqi, from Goyu, Jiangsu, surely gained fans for himself and Goyu salted duck eggs with his essay Salted Duck Eggs for the Dragon Boat Festival. But he wasn't thrilled by outsiders' praise. Happy because whenever mentioned his hometown, people would exclaim, "Oh, you're from the salted duck egg place?" He grumbled, as if our poor hometown only knew how to boil duck eggs. After venting, he'd still admit, "Goyu's salted eggs are supreme. I've traveled widely and tasted many, but none compare." Having seen the ocean, nothing else qualifies as water. Salted duck eggs elsewhere. I truly admire such candid exuberance in Wang's writing. Calling him a literary mudslide isn't exaggerated. In his Winter Sweet essay, "At our county's north gate stood a bead flower shop. After school, I'd watch workers string beads, then create winter sweet bead flowers myself." I embedded heavenly bamboo berries into these winter sweet creations. In my backyard, heavenly bamboo and yellow winter sweet bloomed together. I'm still proud of how beautiful it looked. I gifted these bead flowers to my grandmother, aunt, and stepmother. They'd wear them while exchanging New Year greetings. I should have been an artisan. Why write damn novels? In Beijing, I once picked goosefoot to stir fry. Once, finding plump goosefoot outside Diaoyutai State Guesthouse's walls, I gathered some into my bag. A guard demanded, "What are you doing?" Probably thought I was planting a bomb. Wang's writing is pure and charming, simple yet elegant, reviving classical literati essay charm. One collection featured brilliant promotional copy. These essays record human affairs, depict landscapes, discuss culture and lore, while celebrating flora and fauna. Fruits and foods carry emotions. Minor scholarly inquiries add delight, told intimately, without pretension. Prose pursues elegant simplicity, flowing like clouds and water. Like spring's first leeks or autumn's last cabbage, utterly delicious. After publication, many praised the copy and sought its author. Wang dodged the question. As too many people pressed him, Wang Zhenqi confessed he wrote it himself, admitting this was like old Wang selling melons, overpraising his works as extravagantly as spring's first leeks and autumn's last cabbage. The ad pretended to be by another writer, so he didn't blush. I'd never assigned it myself. That said, this ad genuinely captured the essence of Wang's essays. He cherished life, never yielding to gloom, free from scheming and trivial worries. He lived poetically, observing all things with tender meticulousness. Ordinary grass, trees, tea, and meals all became vivid delights through his perspective. Wang once said, "I hope my works benefit society, nourish emotions, and reveal life's beauty." People are beautiful and poetic. When exhausted, sit, rest, sip lukewarm tea, and read my essays. Wang Zhenqi's essay collection, Life is Quite Fun, uncovers wonder and beauty in the mundane.